glad y'all tuned in. We about to get the show started. Yeah. Dr. Clyde winners and Yoshi. Been and now. We talking about back in the day and right now. Yeah.
Now let's introduce Yoshima the Genius and Dr. Clyde Winters, the godfather of research.
In chains, that we were stolen from Africa, stripped of everything and dumped into a new world we didn't belong to. But what if I told you that's the biggest lie ever told? Because one black man's DNA just destroyed that narrative. His name was Albert Perry, and when scientists tested his Y chromosome, they found something terrifying. It was older than every known human being on Earth. Not just African, not just American, not even Neanderthal. His DNA didn't just connect him to the first man. It proved black men were here in America before native tribes, before Columbus, before anyone. And the moment they realized this, they went silent. Because if black men were the first humans and the first Americans, then everything you were taught about history, race, and power is a lie. History isn't written by the truthful. It's written by the powerful. And for centuries, the truth about black people in America, who we were before slavery, before colonization, before the whip and the auction block, was systematically erased. From the moment the first ships docked, white colonizers didn't just steal bodies. They stole stories, cultures, tongues, bloodlines, and they replaced them with a single narrative. You came from nothing. You were brought here like cargo. You have no past, no land, no legacy. But that narrative was never meant to be true. It was meant to control. Because if black people in America ever knew who we really were, if we ever realized we didn't just arrive here in chains, but that we were already here, thriving, ruling, building, the world would never look at us the same again. That's why early scientists avoided studying African American DNA in depth. They studied European lineages, Asian migrations, even Siberian ancestry. But they stayed away from the one group whose blood carried the real story, the one they couldn't afford to explain, African Americans. Because deep down they knew, if they cracked open our chromosomes, they'd find a story that didn't begin on a plantation. They'd find kingdoms, migrations, ancient power. And in 2013, when a team of stunned geneticists ran a test on the DNA of a quiet, ordinary man from South Carolina, they accidentally opened that buried door. And what they saw on the other side?
Yes, they opened that door. They opened that door. And that scared the hell out of them. It scared the hell out of them because for the first time they had to admit that, hey, you, my brothers and sisters, that we were the first people. We were the first people, not just in Africa, but even in the Americas. And this is scary. This is scary. This is scary. Do you know why it's scary? It's scary because, see, when you know your history, nobody can ever lead you astray. When you know your history, nobody can give you falsehoods. Nobody can deny who you are and what you are, and you're going to fight to make sure that they respect you. Tonight we're going to talk about blacks in America then and now. Why? Because it's something that we need to know. We need to know in a sense that we are unique people. FBA are unique people. Many people assume that FBA have always been waiting around for other people to come and tell us who we were, what we could do, things like that. But no, that's all false. That's all false. We are the original people of this land. And as a result of being the original people of this land, we, in a sense, have to know who we are, where we came from, so that we won't, in a sense, be led astray. Yes, we don't want to be led astray, because see, what many people don't understand is that we were the first people here, and many of the early Europeans that came to this continent, they saw us and they recognized, in a sense, that it was black people who were the earliest people here. Yes, yes, yes. And because of the fact that it was black people who were the earliest people here, they have always been trying to find a way to make you, lose respect for yourself, make you feel, in a sense, that somehow you're not, you don't belong here. You know, we more than belong here, because we made this. We made this country. We built everything in these United States. The foundation of America is black culture. The foundation of America is FBA, Foundational Black American Culture. Why don't I say African American? Because we got Africans over here today, and they're Americans. You see, naturalized Americans. But see, when I say foundational Black Americans, I'm saying that we are not only, in a sense, ethnically of the Negro race or the African race, but we're also, in a sense, the foundation of this country. And because we're the foundation of this country, we have to, in a sense, stay on point. We had to stay alert, and we had to make sure, in a sense, that we do this. What I want to talk about tonight is that, this whole idea of blacks in America, it's nothing new, because see, many European explorers reported that they met black people over here in these United States. And what I want to talk about tonight is many of these explorers, what they saw, what they described, so that you can see the antiquity of black people has been here a long time, and that this is something that I think that needs to be really understood. So let's get started. You can go to my Patreon and see the slides after I do this presentation. The slides will be in my Patreon. Join my Patreon. It's my Patreon that allows me to do this research. It only costs $5 a month, but this $5 a month, what it does is that it gives me the monies to be able to buy, see papers that are behind paywalls, and it allows me to be able to buy the latest books. It allows me, in a sense, to do the latest research, and much of that research is behind a paywall. Yes, a paywall. So you have to have money to pay for this. You can find me at Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. You can follow me on TikTok at Clyde Winters 3. Yoshimar the genius. He's a really a wonderful guy. This guy has made many video shorts of my work and many video shorts of what I stand for. And he's given me these shorts, and he's allowed me to put these on the internet. So go to Facebook and you can see some of the shorts relating to me. You're on my YouTube channel, and here you can find over 400 video. What? Yes. You can find over 400 videos on this site that deal with Black history, and you can order my books on Amazon.com. B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry and mod, not heritage. We must be race men and women proud of our culture and African Black ancestry. What is B1? B1 is unity with mod. B1 is brilliance. Yes, Black means brilliant. B1 is being Black and brilliant. Yes. We are Black and brilliant. B1. Put B1 in the chat. If you want to find out more about the history of Blacks in America, get my books, The Nationality and Law of Foundational Black Americans, The Paleo Americans, the First Foundational Black Americans, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877. If you want to find my books on Blacks in Europe, get my book, Blacks in Europe, The Manufactured Genetic Origins of the Fake Eurasian Black Migration, and my book, The World History of the Black Race. The World History of the Black Race should be in every home. It is a survey book that discusses every Black civilization that ever existed. It should be in your home. It should be on your living room table, so that anytime somebody came over your house, they know that, damn, these people know where they came from. These people know who they are. See, we're not new to this country. We're the foundation of America. And the reason we're the foundation of America is we made this country. What is FBA? FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestor, ancestry, or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the Black Europeans, Africans, and Aboriginal Blacks who built these United States. Check out this video, First Americans Were Black, Dr. Clyde Winters. This video discussed my DNA evidence that I've recovered that showed that the first Americans were Black based upon the DNA that these people carried. Find this video, check it out. It's short, straight to the point, but it'll help you to understand more about my research. Yes, we are B1. Yes, we're B1. We're Black first. Yes, we're B1, B1. But we're brilliant first. Yes, we are Black and brilliant. FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestor, ancestry, or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the Black Europeans, African and Aboriginal Blacks who built these United States. You can order my books at Amazon.com. Sometime you can find some of my comments at Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. Were Africans in America before Columbus? You bet you they were. You see, the scholars who proved that Blacks were in America were David Imhotep, Ivan Van Sertima, and of course myself, Dr. Clyde Winters. You know, we often think about, in a sense, the Black family today, but the Black family today is just a remnant. We are, in a sense, the product of 2,000 years of history in these United States. Yes, yes, yes. The Black family, your family, and my family. We're the result of 2,000 years. 2,000 years, in a sense, of mating of peoples from Europe and the Americas. But we go back in these United States 100,000 years. Yes, over 100,000 years ago, the first Black people were here in these United States. And we, in a sense, are related to these people. You see, we weren't all brought to this country. We're not immigrants to this country, see. And so anybody that tries to tell you that we're immigrants to this country is a liar. We've always been in this country because America was made by us. America was founded by us. And without us, America wouldn't be ish. Black anatomically modern humans have been found in the Americas for over 100,000 years. Evidence of these Paleo-Americans have been found in Brazil and California. Craniometric, quantitative analysis, and multivariate methods have determined the Native American populations. This research indicates that the ancient Americans represent two populations: the Paleo-Americans, who are phenotypically African, Australian, or Melanesian, and a Mongoloid population that appears to have arrived in Americas after 6,000 BC. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? The Mongoloid people do not appear in the Americas from an archaeological standpoint until 6,000 BC. That means, in a sense, for 94,000 years, yes, for 94,000 years, the only human beings that traveled in these United States were Black people like you, Black people like me, Black people like us. Anzac Boy, this is an archaeological, skeleton that they recovered. And Anzac Boy, in a sense, skeleton was found in Montana. This Paleo-American belonged to the Clovis culture, the same as Kennewick Man. The Anzac Boy belonged to mtDNA M or D1 and Y chromosome R1. Yes, 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 yes. The Paleo-Americans. This is some examples of how they've reconstructed some of the faces of these Paleo-Americans. And here we can see that these Paleo-Americans were, in a sense, Black people. Haplogroup Q is not found among Mongoloid Indians. Races now claim Anzac Man is haplogroup is QL54. Haplogroup Q belongs to the P macro haplogroup. Haplogroup Q descends from haplogroup P, which is also the ancestor of haplogroup R1A and R1B. Haplogroup Q quickly split into two main branches, Q1A and Q1B. Yes, yes, yes. But really, in a sense, the DNA goes back to R1. Yes, R1. You see? Foundation of Black Americans continue to carry Y chromosome R1. You see here, in a sense, look at this chart. on the left hand side. In this chart, you can see that contemporary African Black Americans carry R1B 23%. 23%. Think about that. You see, if the first people in the Americas carried R1B over 10,000 years ago, just think about the fact that many of us are still carrying this R1B. This shows that many of us go back at least 10,000 years, and we know from some of the other archaeological evidence and genetic evidence that was discussed in the video that began this particular presentation. We even go back 100,000 years. Yes. You're not new to this country. Stop allowing people to make you feel that you just got here. Stop allowing people to make you think you're an immigrant. You're not an immigrant. You built this country. The Kennewick Man DNA article makes it clear that Kennewick Man is recognized as a Paleo-American. Therefore, he has Negro ancestry. Kennewick Man carried the African haplogroup X. The researchers claim the Kennewick Man's DNA is mainly related to Native Americans living in South America, rather than North America, except for the Coville people on the West Coast. The researchers wrote this type of bullshit. And the reason they try to say that is that the majority of people that carry haplogroup X today are Black people. Come on now. Yes. They want to always lead you down the garden path. They want to always make you, in a sense, lead you down a path in a sense that will put you in that rabbit hole that you will never get out of. But the truth cannot be hid. Kennewick Man carried mtDNA haplogroup X. This haplogroup is rare among United States Indians. This haplogroup is carried by Black people. Amerindians carry the X haplogroup. Amerindians and European haplogroup F are different from the haplogroup F that is carried by Black people in Africa and here. You see? This is very important to understand, because the Paleo-Americans were Black. Here's some of the reconstructions of these early Americans. Here we have Naia, Aparuna, and Lucia. These are the earliest reconstructions of the people who lived in Mexico and Brazil. Yes. These people look like you. These people look like me. These people look like us. Now the Native Americans closely resemble people of China, Korea, and Japan. But the oldest American skeletons do not, says archaeologist and paleontologist James Chatters, leader author of the study and owner of the Applied Paleoscience, a research consulting service based in Bothell, Washington. Walter Nevis found Lucia, and these are some of the reconstructions of how this skeleton, would have looked in its human form. Yes. Walter Nevis, he's done many beautiful reconstructions of ancient Americans. There are a number of claims and reports by early European explorers and chronicles that describe encounters with dark-skinned or African-like people in the Americas, before or shortly after Columbus. These reports have been central to the Afrocentric argument that Blacks were in the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade. Yes. Columbus reported that the indigenous people of Hispaniola told him of Black men who had came from the south and southeast in large boats. Columbus' son, Ferdinand Columbus, in the life of Admiral Christopher Columbus, 1539, wrote, and I quote, "The people of Hispaniola said that Black people had come in the past from the south and southeast in boats, trading in gold-tipped spears." Columbus reportedly obtained some of these metal spearheads, which he called guanin. Upon return to Spain, tests on these spearheads showed that they were made of a metal alloy, identical to West African metallurgy, containing gold, silver, and copper in proportions typical of Guinea West African interpretations. Afrocentric scholars like Ivan Van Serter and myself interpret this as strong evidence of pre-Columbian contact between West Africans and the Caribbean. Mainstream scholars often argue that these stories could be misunderstood or mythicized, or that such alloys could have occurred independently. Of course, they always want to say stuff just appeared out of nowhere. They always want to say in the sense that there was no way. That there was no way that these Black people could have been here. But see, finding these in a sense, arrowheads called guanin, made of these alloys, was even more concrete evidence that these black people were in the Americas before Columbus got here. See, they do not like to have this hard evidence because it's hard to dispute hard evidence. You know, when they can always say, oh, lookism, just because those people look black, that don't mean that they were black related to you. Yes, yes, they were, because they had carried our culture. They made our artifacts. They are members of our group. Leo Africanus and Al-Umari discussed the voyage of Mansa Abubakari. Mansa Abubakari is supposed to have been, in a sense, an emperor of ancient Mali. According to Arabic sources, Mansa Abubakari made a voyage, in the 14th century from the ancient civilization of Mali. And they said he sailed into the Atlantic with hundreds of ships, and he never returned. European mapmakers and chronicles later referenced these voyages, especially during the 15th century exploration boom. Raul de Barros, a Portuguese historian, wrote in Decades da Asia about Mali's ocean voyages. These accounts are cited by Afrocentric historians as evidence that West Africans may have reached the Americas around 1311. Some European explorers were reportedly aware of these accounts before or during their voyages, and we found other evidence that shows that they were here. We know Ferdinand Columbus, the son of Columbus, he mentions them. Bartholomew de las Casas, he mentions them. We have Peter Mar de Angelira, Vasco Nunez de Balboa, and of course, Al-Umari, who mentions the work of Mansa Musa. But again, so as you can see, this whole idea of black people being in these United States before, in a sense, European, or at least by the time Europeans made it here, is not new. Because we have all of these people, in a sense, all of these researchers who wrote about seeing these black people, who wrote about, in a sense, hearing about these black people, who wrote about these black people being here. So this whole idea that there were no black people in America before Columbus or during the time of Columbus is preposterous. The evidence is there. The evidence is clear. In Apologeta Historia de las Indias, Las Casas described the presence of dark-skinned people in the Caribbean that did not resemble the local indigenous people and were not enslaved Africans. Las Casas wrote, and I quote, "I saw some people who appeared to be of a different lineage, dark, almost black, and not like the Indians I had seen before." Peter Martyr, the Angliaria, or Peter Martyr, he wrote, in a sense, and he reported people in the Caribbean. He described these people as black as Ethiopians. I quote, "These people have been black men coming from the south in boats, trading in gold and metal. Like Columbus, Martyr reports that the locals said these visitors came from far away and were different from the native population." Yes. There's these reports. Vasco Nunez de Balboa, during his expedition across Panama, also reported seeing African people living in Central America who were not enslaved. While formal logs are less detailed, later Spanish chroniclers like Gonzalo Fernando Oviedo reported reports that Balboa, I quote, "found a tribe of people with black skin among the native peoples near Darien in what we call the country of Panama today." Yes. Thank you. So as you can see, these black people have been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's time, in a sense, that we stop living a lie. Yes. We're living a lie when we refuse to, in a sense, acknowledge the antiquity, the power of these black people, And this is something that we have to make sure that we always take into account, that we know our history, and that we, in a sense, try to make sure that we're understanding and studying our history. How you doing, man? Magi Commander? Blessings, brother. Blessings to you too, brother. Double check the like button if you are watching. That's right. Check the like button. Come on now, put the lights on. Also, if you got any questions, put them in the comments. I get tired. That every time I do a video, nobody ever has any questions. I know I try to be explicit. That's one of the reasons that my videos are so long. But everybody, if you do have a question, put the question in, put the question, in the discussion. Put the question in the under the video, and then I'll get back to you, and then I'll discuss more with you. The history, in detail. If you have any questions from anything that I said in the video, I want you to make sure, in a sense, that you ask these questions, and I'll discuss them. You see. But again, in a sense, thank you for joining us again for this week's Then and Now. Because, see, what happened in the past can and will always influence the present. Have a great evening now. Good night.
Yeah. Right now, it's time to wrap everything up, you dig? Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Yo. And Dr. Clyde Winters, Then and Now. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody. All y'all support. Y'all like, subscribe, and share this. You dig it? Yo. You've been invited to the Then and Now. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the Then and Now. Yeah. Dr. Clyde Winters in the Yoshimine. Intro, outro to the Then and Now. We gon' see it, so have dinner now. Yeah, raise your head. Why put them down? B1 on that Then and Now. FB8 on that Then and Now. FBB on that Then and Now. It's all about unity on that Then and Now. My indigenous folks on that Then and Now. All my Africans rise on that Then and Now. Rise up on that Then and Now. And don't forget to subscribe to Then and Now.
The only thing that can save you is B1, B1, B1.